Hello, everybody. My name is Amara, and I'm also known as Little Sailboat. That is my artist name and the name that I release music under. And this is something new. I have wanted to do a podcast for a very long time. I don't know, 4 or 5 years, maybe more. And I just was kind of getting stuck on wanting to make sure things were put together in the way I wanted, that like the topic made sense. Like I was getting a little like in my head about it. And I think too, uh, I was like hoping to do it like with somebody because I love to talk to people, but I like this, like just talking at people felt like a little funny to me. But I was like, you know what? Let's just start. I let's try to get the train moving, and then maybe after a few episodes I can maybe have guests on. I don't even have a microphone at this point. I'm keeping things real simple, real stripped back while I try to figure out what the heck I'm doing. But I finally was like, you know what, let's do a podcast on music, because at the end of the day, I think I have so many interests in so many things that I can get distracted by and want to dive into, but music is something that has always been there and will always be there for me. So I was like, well, let's do that. Let's start releasing on YouTube. Maybe at some point it will be on other platforms, but for now it's going to be on YouTube. Um, a show called a show called On Repeat Pod with Amara Jo. And I'm Amara Jo. So Amara is my first name. My middle name is Jolene. And growing up, you know how parents, like when they're upset with you, they'll use your middle name and be like, Amara Jolene. But when my parents were just like calling for me when I was a kid, they would be like, Amara Jo, where's my Amara Jo? And so it's kind of just like a kind of a sweet thing for me. And I'm like, well, that's a fun name to have connected to a podcast. So this is On Repeat Pod with Amara Jo. Now, uh, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. I am very aware of the fact that this channel that I've built, there's a lot of people who are part of this channel who really love classical music and really love kind of the singer-songwriter stuff I've been putting out. What I'm going to be doing on this podcast is I'm going to be taking my actual on repeat Spotify playlist, the algorithm playlist that Spotify puts together for you, and talking through that with you guys, and just being like, this is what I'm listening to this month. This is why I like it. This is what I know about the artists, just just talking, and then if there's ever guests on this podcast, what's cool is they can like pull up their on repeat playlist and do the same thing. And I think what I like about this concept is uh, people are like a little embarrassed by their on repeat playlists and their Spotify wraps in particular, and I don't think we should be. Like, this music that we're repeating is a part of our daily lives for a reason, and it's connecting with us for a reason. And I think we should talk about it and then share with other people why we like it. So, um, so yeah, how I wanted to start this off was in when the Spotify Wraps came out in November, or whenever it came out. I wanted to do an episode talking about my Spotify Wrapped, but I never got around to it because I don't know about you guys, but I have been sick on and off all winter, like just a bunch of colds. And so in December in particular, I was sick for like a couple of weeks. Um, so we're gonna do that now. You ready? At some point there might be graphics, but right now there's not. So just pretend that a graphic just went by. Okay. um, So, I want to tell you guys about my Spotify Wrapped. So, my top artists of 2024 were Tori Kelly was number 1, Ariana Grande is number 2, Beyonce number 3, Normani number 4, Chloe number 5. Uh, and then my top songs of the year were My Love by Leanne, Yes and by Ariana Grande, Escapism by Ray, Too Good to Be True, Casey Musgraves, and Stealing Love, Leanne. So I'm gonna just talk through why like why I have been listening to these artists. So Tori Kelly, I don't know how many of you guys have been sleeping on Tori Kelly, but she's been around for a while now. And what I have always loved about her is she's got just this incredible singing voice. She originally, so the research I've done on her is like she uh was on this like kid singing show and did really well on this like kid talent singing show and got signed for a record deal like right after that. But then the record deal fell through, and then she tried going on American Idol. And if you guys look up what happened on American Idol, like Simon basically told her that she uh, didn't that she was pretty but like didn't have a future, which is just ridiculous. Uh, and so she didn't make it very far on American Idol. And then after that, she started posting YouTube videos and covers. And so that's when like she started to like really take off as an artist, because I think there was one cover she did by Michael Jackson in particular that really got a lot of attention. And she released some EPs, like an EP on her own, and then she got signed. And so uh, what I've always loved about Tori Kelly's catalog is like she's got like the really sweet singer songwriter stuff, but then she also goes pop. And then recently she's been going R&B. She's got her latest project. What's it called? I think the name of it is actually like Tori. Yeah, yeah. So her recent releases were very strategic, because originally she released an EP. Well, she released a single first. So the first single she released underneath her like new project was Missing You, which was like full R&B pop kind of vibe. And then after that she released an EP, and then after that she released an album called Tori. And then later than that she released another album called Tori plus a little more. So it was the album plus more. And what was so cool is like I already have a lot of songs that I listen to from Tori, but like she really layered it in and kind of like drew people in by being like, here's the single, here's the EP, here's the album, here's a little bit more. And I found myself diving back in pretty regularly, and falling in love with new songs. Like initially I loved Missing You, and then there was like the Missing You R&B edit, and I loved Unbelievable, and Shelter, and Oceans, Cut, Diamonds, basically this entire album. And then when she released a little more, there was Distance and Bottom Line with JoJo, You, which I'm really loving right now. And so there's a reason why she's my number one artist, because I just keep going back into her catalog, and listening to more. Um, Ariana Grande is number 2. You know, I really appreciate Ariana Grande as an artist. I think she is someone who understands her craft. I think she is someone who wants to sit in the production chair and like understands how to mix her own vocals and how to layer her own vocals. I've always appreciated any female artist that like gets in the chair and produces their own stuff and wants to be a part of that process. I'm just like really proud of, because it's one of the things that I haven't gotten to yet. Like I want to get to that point where I feel confident producing my own stuff, but I haven't gotten there yet. And so Tori has done that. Ariana Grande also has done that. And her song, Yes and, was my second top song of 2024. And it's just really funny to me because this last year, as you guys know, was a big improv year for me. So the fact that my second song, like my second most played song, was a yes and song is just like really funny to me. Yeah, and then number three was Beyonce. Beyonce is another one where I'm constantly going back into her catalog and listening to her new stuff, but then also every time she releases something new, I go back and listen to her other stuff. And whenever I'm in like a dance mood and just wanna move, I tend to put her stuff on. Um, and then Normani was number four. So no, Normani, for those of you guys who don't know, she was in the girl group Fifth Harmony. And Camila Cabello kind of took off as a solo artist after Fifth Harmony ended. And then Normani, she had like a couple of singles, and Waves in particular was technically her first single, and I really liked Waves. But then Motivation came and they kind of pitched it as being her first single, but like really Waves was. But I think Motivation had more, I don't know if you'd call it like commercial success, but like Normani, this last year in 2024, released her first solo album, and I really liked it. Like I listened to it top to bottom, and there were a lot of songs in there that I liked, and I would go back and I'd listen to it. And so I know there were kind of like mixed reactions to her album, but I really liked Normani's album. And then Chloe, Chloe is the one of the women from the like the girl group Chloe and Hallie. They're a sister duo, and Hallie, you may know her. She is the woman who played the Little Mermaid in the live action movie. And so while Hallie was doing that, Chloe started releasing solo music, and her first album, there were a few songs on there that I liked, and then she released the second album, Trouble in Paradise, I think was the name of it, and there were a lot of songs that I liked in there. Let's see if I can pull it up. In Paradise, Trouble, there it is. So, Boy Bye, Redemption, Temporarily Single, Favorite, Never Let You Go, Want Me, FYS, like those were all songs that I saved and that I really liked from that album. So that's the reason why she was in my top artists of 2024 as well. In regards to what the heck? This isn't an email. This first episode might be a little rough, guys. I'm getting the rust off. I'm getting the I'm turning on the faucet and getting all the gunk out. So you'll have to be patient with me as I do this. So my top songs of 2024 were, and I think I said this already, My Love by Leanne, Yes and by Ariana Grande, Escapism by Ray, Too Good to Be True, Casey Musgraves, Steal in Love, Leanne. So Leanne, I love, so Leanne is also formerly part of a girl group. She was part of Little Mix, which was I think a UK group. And I always love when groups like break up, when bands break up. I love listening to people's solo work because there's just something really cool about hearing the difference between what a group of people made together versus like what that person decides to make by themselves. They really get to hone in on like the sounds that they love. And I listened to all of the Little Mix women when they broke off. I listened to all of their solo stuff, and Leanne stuck out to me the most. Like My Love, I was jamming to that most of 2024. Steel in Love as well, and then a lot of her EP is saved to my phone. Um, so let's see here. I'll Still Be Here, OMG, uh, Don't Say Love. Like I really loved all the stuff that Leanne put out. So if you haven't heard any of her stuff, that is a good one to check out. Um, Perry, another woman in that girl group, she, I really liked her Christmas single. She released and then that's not gonna show up in my Spotify Wrapped, but in December or like right before December, she released a Christmas song, and I actually added it to my Christmas playlist, which I hardly ever touch that. Like every Christmas, I just pull it up and I'm like, I'm gonna play my Christmas songs, and I actually added Perry's Christmas song to my Christmas playlist. So kudos to her for creating something that was like catchy and memorable, because that's hard to do with Christmas songs. There's so many people who want that like Christmas hit, and I think she got it. Christmas Magic. That was the name of it. So, I talked about yes, and okay. So escapism with Ray. I actually so you want to know what's funny about this? I discover music in a variety of different ways. I discover music through like YouTube, like I'll be listening to stuff, and then like I'll get recommended to watch other things, and so I'll discover music that way. I will discover music by people like the old school people just telling me about it. So with Ray, what was funny is like I have a text chain with me and my two little brothers, and basically all we do is just like text each other music to listen to. And I remember escapism coming through that text chain at one point, like early 2024, maybe 2023, before people were starting to talk about her. Yeah, it must have been 2023. And it wasn't like the full escapism song. It was like a remix of it. Because the thing about Ray's album is it's been out for a while, and it's just like recently starting to get some buzz and some awards, which is like kudos to her for figuring that out. But yeah, when I got the text from my brother to listen to like the remix of Escapism, I listened to it and kind of was like, oh, okay. And then this is the power of a live performance. I don't remember when it was, but at some point she performed on SNL, and she performed Escapism on SNL, and it just like blew my mind. Like it wasn't even the version of Escapism on Spotify. Like it was she did like a like kind of a jazz blues version of it, where she was scatting, I think is what it's called. Uh and I probably said that wrong. Scatting. But yeah, I watched that performance and I was like, who is this woman? And I went and looked. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. My brother sent me this, and I listened to the song again, like the original track, not the sped up or whatever remix my brother sent me. And I was like, I really like this. So that was a song that I played a lot of in 2024. The funny thing about Ray too is I just realized this today. Something popped up in my YouTube where one of her old dance tracks showed up, and I was like, that's her? Like her let me look it up. What was it again? So she had a dance track that I had added to one of my playlists like years ago, and I had no clue it was her. Um It was You Don't Know Me with Jax Jones. So she's got this dance track, You Don't Know Me with Jax Jones, and I love that track. I had it on a couple of different playlists a few years ago, and just to realize that that's her, I was like, dang. So it just goes to show the kind of the path that different artists go on. And you know, one of the things I really appreciate about Ray's music is like the build of her music. I love a big dramatic song. Like I love um the kind of the percussive strings, just the kind of the drama. And I I think it's coming from my classical background, to be honest, because like I grew up, my dad is a church organist, and one of the things he likes to do is he likes to like build up a song, and he'll be using the pedals, you know, his feet, and then what he'll do is he'll like open up all the pipes of the pipe organ and make the church shake a little bit. So like I grew up with just like big sounds, like big dramatic sounds. And so any artist that like shows that kind of emotion and that kind of build, I'm very drawn to. So yeah, escapism was definitely that there was a reason why I was listening to that song on repeat. Number 4 was Too Good to Be True, Casey Musgraves. That was one where I love a chill singer-songwriter, easy to listen to, easy to sing to song. Like it just was easy on the ears. And one that I would listen to on my drive to work. Like that's the thing about music, right? Is like you kind of have songs for different parts of the day, and I typically have like kind of my chill singer songwriter songs that I listen to as I'm driving to work, and then on the drive home, that's when you start bumping yes and escapism, right? So that was why that song ended up in my top 4, and then Steal in Love, Leanne. I already talked about Leanne. That one made it into my top 5 too. So what I'm gonna do is I don't know why I chose to sit down, guys. I thought this would be more intimate to sit in front of you guys. We'll see if I make it. Um uh so what I'm gonna do is I am gonna take my Spotify Wrapped and put it in a playlist that you guys can access, and link it in this YouTube video so that you guys can see not just, you know, the top 5 songs I talked about, but like the all 100 songs that were in my Spotify Wraps. I do want to warn you guys, for any of you guys that are like sensitive to language, there is some explicit language in a good chunk of the music I listen to. So just be wary of that if that's something that you want to be careful of. But I'm gonna link it there because I think it'll be fun to see if any of you end up liking any of that music. I think it's just fun to share music that you like. So what was funny about that Spotify Wrapped too is it would tell you like certain months like what your theme was, and it told me that March of 2024 was my Pink Pilates Princess Hollywood pop phase. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I was listening to artists like Ariana Grande, Beyonce, and Dua Lipa. And then another one that came up was in June was my smooth strut R&B season. And so I was listening to artists like Normani, Victoria Monet, and Beyonce. So yeah. Oh, different seasons. So I will link that below for you guys so that you can take a look. So now, moving over to my on repeat, what I'm listening to right now. That was a very quick overview of my Wrapped, and I probably was talking too fast. This is why I would love to be talking with a person, because it would kind of slow me down a little bit. But it's all right. We're gonna make it work. Um, all right. So my current on repeat, literally what's in my playlist right now, is Revolving Door, Tate McRae, Oscar Winning Tears, Ray, Ready to Love, JoJo, Balloon, Tyler the Creator and Doechii, Lovely with Khalid with Billie Eilish, Admit It, Jordan Sparks, Fire, Alessia Cara, Abracadabra, Lady Gaga, Baby Bluebird, Little Sailboat, You, Tori Kelly, Run Run, Alessia Cara, Here We Go, Uh-Oh, Coco Jones, Catfish, Doechii, That's So True, Gracie Abrams, Distance, Tori Kelly, Kilometer, Burna Boy. Oh no, I'm not gonna be able to say this one correctly. Um, Tishwala Bam. Oh no, Tishwala Tishwala Bam, which is a couple of different artists, including Burna Boy. I'm sorry, guys, that was bad. I Love You, I'm Sorry, Gracie Abrams. Boiled Peanuts, Doechii. Too Much to Say, JoJo. Sports Car, Tate McRae. Broken In, Ella Langley. Nissan Altima, Doechii. Happy for You, Dua Lipa. Drinks Her Coffee, Rose. Slow Motion, Alessia Cara. Green Light, Beyonce. So Me Like It, Spice. Girls, the kid Lori. Lori, I think that's how you say it. The kid Lori. All I know is he's dating Tate McRae. And then Nighttime Thing, Alessia Cara. So I will first start. Oh, I'm gonna sit like this. This might be a little better. um. All right. So my number one song on my on repeat right now is "Revolving Door" Tate McRae. Now Tate McRae just dropped her latest album, and she's a pop girl that has like been like slowly rising. A lot of people compare her to Britney Spears. It's so funny though because like she's so young that that's not who she grew up with. I think I heard in an interview, I was watching an interview of hers where she was like, "Yeah, I grew up with like Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness," because she's like 21 years old. Um, but like what I have appreciated about Tate McRae is she's a dancer. Like her first love was dance, and if you go like look up her stuff, like you can find videos of her at like 10, 11 years old dancing, and she's still a beautiful dancer. And based off of like the interviews I've seen and kind of the behind the scenes stuff, she's very aware of how a song is gonna make her move and how she's gonna choreograph to the song and how her choreographer is gonna choreograph to the song. And that comes through in the music that she releases. So Revolving Door in particular, I really love because it's kind of this like it's got this chill vibe to it, but like the beat um is so steady and so interesting that like she's still able to dance to it. And she in her music video to this is her dancing. And so I've been listening to it on repeat. It's been a good one. Um Oscar winning Tears, Ray. So that was so funny. You know what's crazy about music is you can fall in love with a song and it becomes like the only song you listen to from that artist and from that catalog. And this was just like a good reminder to me as an artist because sometimes I can get a little frustrated when I don't see people listening to my new music, like people are just continuing to listen to my old stuff. And like, this is a reminder to me, like, kind of the psychology behind that. The fact that, like, for Ray, I loved escapism and I was listening over and over and over and over again to escapism. And I almost was like scared to listen to the rest of her catalog because I didn't want to be disappointed by it, which is silly, which is very silly. And so, Oscar Winning Tears is a song where it was showing up in some of my algorithm playlists on Spotify, and I was skipping it because I was just like, well, like, it might not, it's probably not going to be as good as escapism. Like I was just being weird about it. And Then she performed it at the Grammys, and I was like, Amara, this is your kind of song. And after seeing it on the Grammys, it just started to be on repeat for me. It's just such a big dramatic song. When I listen to it in the car, it makes me think I can sing like her. Like, I try but I can't, but I still try. So yeah, Oscar winning Tears by Ray. It's a solid song. Ready to Love is number 3 for me. So JoJo, for those of you who don't know, this is the OG JoJo. This is the JoJo that released Leave, Get Out at 13 years old. This is not JoJo Siwa. That's a completely different person. This is OG JoJo, and she's one that, like, I've always kept an eye out for. Like, in the fall, when I realized she was going to be releasing a new project, I was excited about it. And Ready to Love is just like such a catchy track, and just like it's got a bit of R&B to it. It's a song you can move to, and definitely you guys should check it out. JoJo released just like a really great project, and Ready to Love was one that really stuck out to me. So Balloon featuring Doechii. This is a Tyler the Creator song. So this is an old song. I actually remember when the Tyler the Creator album charted on Spotify, and it like took over the top part of the charts, and I never listened to it. I was kind of like, oh, okay. I think I remember thinking that, like, Tyler the Creator was a YouTuber, right? And then he became a musician, and so I saw it take over the charts, and I was like, oh, good for him. But then this is also a Grammy thing, so I saw Doechii perform on the Grammys, and I was like, okay, I need to dig into this a little bit more, because Doechii was one where I had heard like a YouTube personality talk about her. I had heard like a podcaster talk about her. I had heard people like talk about her Tiny Desk concert, and so after seeing her performance on the Grammys, I was like, you gotta take some time to see what she's about. So I listened to her entire album. What's the name of the album? Crocodile Tears? No. It's called, oh, Alligator Bites Never Heal. I was close. So I listened to that entire album, and there were a lot of songs on that album I really liked. Then I went to see what else was popular on Spotify, and I saw that Balloon was, and I listened to that, and I was like, oh my goodness, like it's just such a catchy song, and such a song, like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, you don't really dance to it, you kind of just like bounce to it, like at least I do. And so yeah, that was one where I need to go listen to the rest of that Tyler the Creator album, because if I like this song, it would not surprise me if I like the rest of the album. So I need to go back and do that. And I did watch Doechii's Tiny Desk concert too, and it's just a fabulous Tiny Desk concert. So go look that up on NPR when you have a chance. Lovely by Billie Eilish with Khalid. This is an old song, and what's so interesting to me is every now and then, like, an old song will just like pop into my head, and it tends to pop into my head because of dance. Like, so I'm someone who really loves storytelling dance. And I remember watching World of Dance, and there was a group, I don't even remember the name of them, but they performed a dance to Lovely on World of Dance, and it was just such like a emotive song to dance to, and it stuck in my head. And randomly I remembered that dance, and looked up that song again, and I was like, oh, this is a good song. So it's been on repeat. It's been on repeat. Number 6, Admit It by Jordin Sparks. So this is a deep cut. A deep cut to her latest album. So Jordin Sparks is the first like pop girl that I listen to, and I say pop girl hesitantly because she's kind of leaning more into the R&B world now, but she, I think, is the same age as me, and she won American Idol when she was like 16, 17. So I was like 16, 17 years old, and I remember her releasing One Step at a Time and No Air, and that first album, like that was really my first like pop album that I had. And I just like ever since then, when she releases something, I listen to it just to see if I'll like it. Just because, you know, nostalgic, right? Like when there's an artist that like you listen to during such a, is pinnacle the right word? So, during such a pinnacle period of your life, like you just want to check in on them, see what they're up to. And I listened to her latest album, and Admit It just really stuck out to me. At one point, there's like a gospel choir. It might be her voice like layered over and over and over again, but there's like a gospel choir moment in Admit It, and I love it. I love it so much. So really good song. Next up is Fire by Alessia Cara. So Alessia, she's another one where I'm rooting for her just as like a person and an artist. One of my brothers told me at one point that like my vibe reminds him of Alessia Cara, which is a huge compliment because she seems like super chill, super cool, super fun. I don't always feel those things, but I don't always feel like I am those things. But yeah, she just seems like she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she releases good music. This project that she released, I think she released it on Valentine's Day, Love and Hyperbole. And if you are looking for a good road trip album, this is a good one. This is a good one. I listened to it top to bottom and really liked most of the songs. And Fire is the one. It's so interesting that that's the one that connected with me the most because I don't think she released it as a single, but it's the one she's performing on like all of the shows. Like I saw that she performed it on Kelly Clarkson. There was another show she performed it on. I don't remember the name of it, but it's the one she's been performing, and I really love it. So it's so chill and pretty, and yeah, I really like it. So number 8, we're going full pop. Are you ready? Abracadabra by Lady Gaga. You gotta love a Lady Gaga pop song, right? Like it's just the abracadabra, like I can't even do it. That the floor's on fire, just like it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And so I was, good for her. The Grammys, she bought, or MasterCard did, I think it was a sponsored ad with MasterCard, but literally a commercial during the Grammys was her music video for Abracadabra. And I remember standing there just frozen looking at the screen, and I'm just watching, and then when the music video was done, I was like, did she just use a commercial to do a music video? Like I was just like, what? And the song was just so good, and I was like, yeah, that was a good move. That was a good move, Lady Gaga. So love that song. Baby Bluebird by Lil Sobo. It's me. It's my song. So I listen to my own music. Yeah. Baby Bluebird in particular is one that I like to go back to and listen to because it just kind of puts me in this whimsical, dreamlike state of like anything's possible, you know? So, yeah, that's why I listen to my own music. Listening to my own music is like reading old journal entries. And so every now and then they pop up in my on repeat playlist. So next up is You by Tori Kelly. I think I told you guys about this already, but yeah, Tori Kelly. You was an interesting one because when I first heard it, I was kind of like, And then it became one of my more listened to Tori Kelly songs. So I think it just kind of itched the right spot. And then eventually I was like, all right, I'm on board. Um, Run Run by Alessia Cara is the next one, and that's another one off of that album I was telling you guys about. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh by Coco Jones. Now I gotta tell you, I had heard of Coco Jones in passing, but this shows you the power of like a red carpet interview, because I was watching some of the red carpet interviews for the Grammys and I was like, all right, I don't. And then she came up and her personality was just so charming and so fun and kind of like drew me in, and I was like, who is this? And I was like, oh, okay, Coco Jones. What is she nominated for? And I looked it up and I found her song and I listened to, like, literally it took me like several steps to get to her song. I had to be drawn in by her. I had to learn her name. I had to look up her name. I had to look up what she was nominated for. And then I had to listen to the song. But it was all because like she was so charming during this red carpet interview. So that's how you do a red carpet interview. That's why you do them, to draw people like me in. So here we go. Uh-oh, it's a good song. It's a good song. So next up is Catfish by Doechii. Really love this song. You know what was funny is when I went back and watched her Grammy performance again on YouTube, I saw underneath in the YouTube comments somebody said, and I quote, "You can't tell me that's not a theater kid." And I was like, oh, okay. No, I understand why this connected with me, because just the theatrics of it was just like, was so cool. Like she put in so much work for that performance, and it was just flawless. And so yeah, Catfish has been in my on repeat. It's a good song. So my next song is That's So True by Gracie Abrams. I'm a little late to the Gracie Abrams train. Like she was really taken off last year in 2024, and none of her songs hit my Spotify Wrapped this last year, but it's probably gonna hit it this year because I've been listening to That's So True and I Love You, I'm Sorry, and they're just like solid singer-songwriter folk pop songs, you know. I think I kind of had this like stubborn moment when I saw her songs hit the charts and I like listened to them for the first time. I was kind of I can get a little stubborn sometimes when I see something all of a sudden become popular. I can be like, well, is it really that good if it's popular? Like I can get a little snooty like that sometimes, and eventually, like I heard her music enough in other places. Like I heard it in like YouTube Shorts a couple times and like out in public, and I was like, oh, I think I might actually like these songs, and then I was full on in. So That's So True is a good song, and so is I Love You, I'm Sorry. Number 15 is Distance by Tori Kelly, just like a fun pop singer-songwriter song. Number 16 is Kilometer by Burna Boy. You wanna know what's funny? Is that's a song that my YouTube algorithm feeds me like dance videos, and not like TikTok dance videos, because that's not really my vibe, but like dancers dancing TikTok videos. And I at some point I got fed like this Red Bull does like these battles, these dance battles, and there were a couple of videos of people dancing to this Burna Boy song and this other Burna Boy song that is also in my on repeat playlist. And so I remember seeing those dancers dance to it, and I was just like, this is fun. And they got added to I just started listening to them. I already said I Love You, I'm Sorry. That was number 18. Number 19 is Boiled Peanuts, Doechii. Number 20 is Too Much to Say, JoJo. So again, you know, JoJo, the OG JoJo. 21 is Sports Car by Tate McRae. There were, when she released her other two singles, Two Hands and It's Okay, I'm Okay, um, those were in my on repeats, like back in the fall, winter months. I have had most of her singles in my on repeats. Um, 22. So I don't know much about this artist. Ella Langley, she has a song called Broken In, the acoustic version. It's on her album called Hungover. And this is a song that was sent to me. I have a coworker who is like a brother to me, who will just like chat me songs to listen to that he likes. And this is a song he sent me at one point, and I really liked it, and I started to listen to it. So I don't know much about that artist, but it's a good song. 23 is Nissan Altima Dochi. 24, Happy For You, Dua Lipa. I was actually really surprised, guys, that I'm really struggling with the sitting. I don't know if the next time I do this, if I can sit. And the sun is slowly setting too, so I'm slowly getting less lighting. I should have done this earlier in the day or gone and sat at my kitchen table. I was trying to be intimate, guys. I was trying to be intimate. Anyway, so Dua Lipa's album Radical Optimism, I was surprised that that song didn't get nominated for a Grammy this year. Well, not the song, but the album. Like, I was surprised Radical Optimism didn't get nominated. There were some good songs on that album, and Happy For You in particular. Sometimes I get a little teary listening to it. It's a good song. All right. Oh, I'm struggling, guys. I'm really struggling with the sitting. Oh, maybe I'll sit this way and stretch my legs out. There we go. We'll try this for a little bit. So, the next song is Drinks or Coffee with Rosé. She is the one behind apata pata apata pata apata pata like she did that song with Bruno Mars, the one that like I think truly was like the hit of the year. But you know what's funny is I listened to that song for a while, but then Drinks or Coffee was the one that ended up being my favorite. So yeah, it's a good song. I think it goes back to there was a choreographer I really like that choreographed to this song. And I think that's the reason why Drinks or Coffee now is my favorite. Slow Motion by Alessia Cara is on here. Next is Green Light with Beyonce. So just like a fun side note is like whenever I get Netflix, because I don't have Netflix all the time, I kind of get it and then stop and then get it and stop. But anytime I get Netflix, I will go and watch Beyonce's Homecoming performance because it's just phenomenal. Like just it's just one of the best things I've ever seen. And she knows how to put on a show. Beyonce knows how to put on a show. And I thought the same thing of her football performance. What was it? She performed at some sort of Thanksgiving football thing. It was, yeah, that's all football. It was some football thing. And she knows how to put on a show. So Green Light by Beyonce ended up in my on repeat because there was a period in the Homecoming special where like Green Light is sung for like 4 bars or something like that, and then it stops. And every time I would watch it, I'm like, I don't know if I know that song. And then eventually I went and listened to it. I was like, oh, this is a good song. So yeah. So Me Like It by Spice is on here as well. That's another dance song that showed up in I think it was another Red Bull, yeah, it was another Red Bull battle song that showed up in my YouTube feed. And I really like the song, and it's a really old song, but it's a good song. So that's on my on repeat. Girls by the Kid Lori. I think it's Lori. Oh, I'm so bad. the kid Lori. Like I said, all I know is that he's dating Tate McRae. Um, yeah, I came across this song as I was like looking at some of Tate McRae stuff, and was like, well, this is a good song. It's a good dance song. And there was some like pop gossip going around that this kid Lori wrote the song about Tate McRae, and so I got sucked into that a little bit. Sometimes I get sucked into the pop culture gossip, and that definitely sucked me in, and Girls is a good song, so I listened to it. And then last but not least, Nighttime Thing by Alessia Cara, again off of her new album Love and Hyperbole. So, um, we have hit the 50-minute mark. The sun has slowly set on my face so that you can barely see my face anymore, so that's fun. But yeah, I'm gonna link to this playlist in the notes of this YouTube video as well. I felt like I talked really fast, and I don't know if I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. This is the first episode. This is me learning as I go, and I appreciate you guys letting me try this out. I think my plan is to do something like this like once a month, where like the first Sunday in April, I'll look at my on repeat playlist and do this again, and maybe talk a little slower and have more interesting things to say. But I hope this was fun for you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this and listening to this, and we'll do more of it in the future. Amara Jo out.